Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. Today we're going to look at a question from Larry DeJournett, K4RBN. He says, Dear Dave, before I ask my question, I just want to say thank you for your videos on YouTube. Your videos prepared me for and helped me pass both the technician and general class exams. Well, congratulations to you and welcome to Ham Radio. Now for the questions. After operating on 2 meters and 70 centimeters for a while, I am ready to move in the HF world. Great, congratulations. In particular, I am wanting to dive into 6 and 20 meters. Understand that 6 meters is essentially a VHF band. Sometimes it acts like an HF band. Most of the time it acts like a VHF band. Okay, it is technically a VHF band because it's above 30 megahertz. That's the cutoff. VHF is 30 to 300 megahertz. Now, the sunspot activity is low right now. As over the next year or two, we're going to start getting more sporadic E on 6 meters. The part of 6 meters that seems to be exciting most people is FT8 on 6 meters. I've done some FT8 on 6 meters. It's amazing. The band can be totally empty. And the FT8, there's a couple different frequencies used for FT8 on 6 meters that can be quite active at some times. The other band you want to operate on is 20 meters. 20 meters is largely, at this point in the solar cycle, a daytime band. Okay, so as the evening approaches, the band tends to drop off. Now, when the sunspot cycle is better, it'll become even a nighttime band. It will become an absolutely wonderful band. I would recommend that you also look at 40 meters. 40 meters is a daytime and evening band, and as we get higher in the sunspot cycle, we will be doing a lot of 40 meter activity. Now, 80 meters is an active band, but it's full of nets. Net is where people get together by prearrangement and yak. And sometimes you can find nets on 80 meters that are accepting of newcomers, and other times you will find that they're not. I have not generally recommended 80 meters. It's not a band you call CQ on. You break into one of the nets by simply announcing your call sign. Don't say break, because break technically means you have an emergency, okay, so, on ham radio. So you want to just slip your call sign in. Sometimes that's hard to do. I'd recommend 40 meters because that is a CQ band, so is 20. The reference station antenna is good on 40, 20, 10, and 6. So you can get your 2 bands that you're looking for. Now the antenna is 66 feet long, plus you need a little space for rope and stuff at the end. Another antenna that I tested as a possibility for the reference station antenna is only a little longer than a 20 meter dipole. It's the Alpha Delta DXE antenna. And it has at the top a 20 meter dipole that has an extension, a loaded extension for 40, and the whole antenna is only 40 feet long, okay, which is only a couple feet longer on either end than a 20 meter antenna. Now, of course, nothing comes for free, and you lose about half the 40 meter band. If you're only going to do HF, that's fine. Just tune it for the upper part of the 40 meter band. If you're going to do FT8 on 40 meters, well, you got to tune it a little different, and you might have to give up the sideband portion of it. The reference station antenna, which is 66 feet long, is not a trapped antenna. It's an off-center fed antenna, and it will give you 40 and 20, all of the band on both of those. Okay, so you've got lots of antenna choices. You also, if you have limited space, have the choice of a vertical antenna. Now there's two kinds of verticals. Something like the DX Commander, which is a fan vertical. It's not too dreadfully expensive, but it's not cheap. That takes very little space in the yard. It's black so that it doesn't stand out so much, and you will have to put out a radial field. Or you can get a radialless vertical antenna like the AV640, but then you are spending $600 or something like that for a 200-part kit that will take you 2 or 3 days to assemble, and best to do it with someone else on a concrete surface, because if you lose a bolt in the grass, it's gone. Okay, so you've got lots of options. I don't know how big your yard is, but that's what I would prefer. Now we come to his real question. And Brad N6GR, you'll be right on top of this, okay? But here is my concern. We are the proud pet parents of 4 small and medium-sized parrots. The birds in their cages are located in the first floor of the house. Is there any possibility that an HF antenna mounted in the attic could cause harm to our birds? I want to talk a little bit about RF safety. Here's a dipole antenna for some different HF frequencies, okay? And here's a human laying down. The human is 6 feet long. It's a 6-foot-long dipole, okay? When you start, and a dipole's a half wave, right, remember? Okay, if you get up like 10 meters, half of that is 5 meters, or about 15 feet. Now, you're starting to get up to where, okay, this is a quarter wave of 10 meters. And you're going to get some absorption in the body. Now, for ham radio, the bands up through about 15 meters, you don't have to worry about RF at amateur power levels, 100 watts. One way to avoid the problem is put the antenna up high so the radiation goes over what you're trying to get out. Okay, so you've got a problem at 10 meters to 2 meters. Okay, 2 meters is 6 feet. There you go, a full wavelength. Now let's take a look at your parrots. Your parrot, the only part of the parrot that matters is the flesh part. The fact that it's got foot-long tail feathers doesn't matter. They don't conduct. Okay, it's the fleshy part of the tail up to the head that counts. And what you're going to find is a parrot, so I'm going to say it's probably, what, this big, or maybe a little bit bigger. I mentioned Brad Rich because he has a parrot too. When you get up to like 70 centimeters to 23 centimeters, which are microwave frequencies. Okay, well, this is UHF. This is microwave. Okay, this is where you start thinking about your parrots. Now, again, if what you are transmitting on 70 centimeters or 23 centimeters is 50 watts, and you've got a vertical antenna and your parrot is going to be at an angle like this most of the time, unless they're flying, in which case they'll be a horizontal. If you keep that power down and it's from an antenna that's quite a ways away, it's not going to affect you, it's not going to affect the parrots. The HF is not going to affect the parrots to speak of. Now, the way HF works with animal matter is it heats the matter. Okay, it heats it. And the amount that's intercepted by the body is minuscule. So let me give you the bottom line. Your pets are fine. I wouldn't worry about them. If you have to mount in the attic, take a look at that DXE, because if you can get 40 feet from end to end, you can have at half of 40 meters as well as 20 meters. And of course, the 6 meters you'll have to put in a separate dipole if you use the DXEE, because it doesn't do 6. You'll put in a separate 6 meter dipole. But 6 meter dipole, good heavens, it's 3 meters long, half wave, right? That's 15 feet. That's not very long. You can stick that just about anywhere. So I think you'll be in good shape. Enjoy your hamming. Get on HF and just have a lot of fun with it. And I mentioned N6GR is a parrot owner too. And he just got a new parrot. And he's been sending me pictures. He is a patron, an Augie, and a friend. And so you'll have fun with those parrots, I'm sure. So I hope that answers your question. There you have it. Until we next meet, 73.